Well, hey, it's been a busy week for us. Lots of good news, lots of things happening as well for us. So hopefully we'll create more good news for you. And we've gotten a lot of questions from you, our shareholders. A couple of them asking actually about the US market and how our companies can potentially do there if the new president will influence how they are doing. And Lassi Noponen, our chairman, runs the pop-up office in Los Angeles. So I'm directing this question directly to him. He has met Eric Knutzen, who is a long-time Cleantech executive and investor. He's lived, I think, some 15 years in Sweden. He's lived in Hawaii, and he now operates out of Los Angeles in California. So, Lassi will ask him some questions about our companies on the US market. Over to Lassi.
Hello, I'm here in San Diego with Eric Knutzen. Eric is a friend of Cleantech Invest. He actually visited our Sexy Truth event in Helsinki, and very experienced American Cleantech investor and executive who actually has spent 18 years of his life in Sweden and is a fluent Swedish speaker. Welcome. But we'll stick to English in this broadcast. So Eric, I wanted to ask you, you have learned Cleantech Invest during the last half a year. So what is your opinion about Cleantech Invest's technology portfolio's possibilities here in the United States?
Well, honestly, here, viewing the different services, products in the portfolio, I'm excited. I think for the U.S. market, given where we're at today in the U.S., the potential is giant. And that's why I actively have flown over to the other side of the earth, to Finland, to visit with you and your leaders, and became even more enthralled. I truly have.
More specifically, you know that Cleantech Invest is focused on energy efficiency and resource efficiency, and when we came to the US, we thought that, frankly, that the energy efficiency matters here would be better taken care of than they actually are. So what do you think of our portfolio companies that are focused on energy efficiency with respect to the California and broader US market?
Well, here in the U.S., the price of energy has been so low relative to the rest of the world, especially in Scandinavia, in Europe. And that's been affecting the market administratively, so that the technical capacity or ability has been there for the U.S. to improve on their efficiencies, whether it be building energy efficiency or otherwise. But they haven't really addressed it actively. So when you go into the different building solutions that you've got for the entities here. An example might be an entity I worked with in Hawaii, that when you're looking at the efficiencies that they had, they weren't nearly at the level you'll find in Europe.
Exactly. I know that you have been listening into Nuuka CEO presenting. What do you think of energy efficiency for real estate from Nuuka that is making inroads into the US? Do you see a market for them?
I do. I truly do, and I think we need to offer it here in the U.S. and conduct a number of pilot projects here and prove that, which I think we could do fairly easily, given the status here in the U.S. versus Europe and the efficiencies that can be offered with a win-win business model where both the company as well as ourselves could win with that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, since we are in California, water is a big deal here. And now it's been a rainy season here, but still I don't think that solves the water issues for good. So what do you think of Cleantech Invest, Sophie filtration?
Well, filtration is important. Americans across the U.S., whatever state you're thinking of, demand clean water. And there's new standards being developed by the federal government. I know in Hawaii, which I spent 14 years, and the last 14 in, there's issues with certain chemicals such as hexavalent chromium-6, which is either from iron ore from the old time. They were making a lot of tools for their sugar production, or from lava. And they're not quite sure the root cause, but that type of filtration to get rid of certain chemicals that do have a high correlation with different sicknesses, whether it be cancer or otherwise, they're going to be needed, and there's a focus on that as well. If you've got the combination of both energy and water filtration, that fits well in a portfolio that I think could almost be duplicated over here in the U.S. like you have in Europe.
That's really interesting. Okay, maybe a final comment. I know that many of our stakeholders back in Finland and Sweden are wondering if the United States is a place where Cleantech Invest should establish itself more firmly. What is your recommendation to us?
Well, my recommendation is just straight from the heart. I've been interested in this for a number of months since being introduced to you, and flying over to Finland, seeing what's being offered, visiting your leadership, because it's all about people and technology, and finding the same people here in the U.S. that are motivated, understand the technology, can project lead, administrate this, and move the market to understand what the benefits are, where they can save money. They can, with the energy efficiencies. On the water side, the filtration can be done effectively and provide the clean water which is demanded here in the U.S. On the same level as in Europe.
Okay, I take that as a yes.
It's a yes.
Okay, well, thank you, Eric, for this, and we end to these words. Thank you. Bye-bye.